Does it have a price on it?
I wouldn't sell for less than $3 million.
So what do you want for it?
$150,000.
How much you want for this thing?
I'm asking $150,000.
$150,000.
The first seller brought in a unique collection of fossils that are millions of years old.
I have a set of fossils, Pescara, Tyrannosaurus tooth, and North Africa crocodile skull.
The seller explained he picked them up at a nearby estate sale and brought them in hoping to learn what they were really worth.
How much you looking to get out of these?
The skull I want $8,000, and the tooth I'm trying to get $3,000, and fish I'd like to get $1,000 for it.
Rick was impressed, but he knew that with fossil replicas becoming more common, he needed an expert before making any offers.
Do you mind if I pick any of this stuff up?
Sure, go ahead.
Of course, I'm going to go for the Tyrannosaur tooth first. I hate to tell you, but this is a replica.
The paleontologist quickly confirmed the T-Rex tooth was a replica, but the fish fossil was real and well preserved.
I can tell by the shape of the snout and the basic anatomy of the skull that it's a Dinosaur, which is an Eocene crocodile.
So how old would this be?
Roughly 60 to 50 million years ago, right after the dinosaurs went extinct. These guys managed to find a foothold and survive. These guys would float up to the top of the water and just wait for fish to swim by their open jaws, and they'd snap them shut.
The expert valued the fish at about $500 and the crocodile skull at around $16,000.
I'm going to pass on the fish, but this right here, you're asking $8,000 for it, and I mean, I'll give you $9,000 just for the skull.
Well, the appraiser said it's worth $16,000. Can you do 11?
If I didn't call the guy in, you'd still be wanting 8.
Good thing we called him.
The seller wanted at least $11,000 for the crocodile skull, but Rick didn't budge, and in the end, the deal closed at $9,000.
Prepare to be amazed. The rarest Hot Wheel in the world.
Is that what I think it is?
Pink 1969 rear-load beach bomb.
That's the holy grail of Hot Wheels, isn't it?
It sure is.
The next seller walked into the shop with what many collectors consider the ultimate toy collectible, the rarest Hot Wheels ever made.
It's pretty amazing. It's one of those little tidbits of history and collecting that generally you see in some guy's personal little museum or something like that. I mean,
The seller said what made the toy so rare was that it was modeled after a Volkswagen bus and came from an early Hot Wheels design that was never released in stores.
Hot Wheels was one of the greatest toys to come out in the late 60s. The fact that only a few of these were produced but never sent out to the public makes it incredibly rare. And being a Volkswagen bus, it's got a dual collector base.
The seller was asking $150,000, claiming the tiny van was the holy grail of Hot Wheels collectibles, so Rick called in an expert to evaluate it.
This is the rarest and most sought-after Hot Wheel in existence. And usually in the Hot Wheel collecting world, pink always means dollar signs. And there's only, I believe, 2 pinks known, and one is a prototype and the other one was an early production.
After carefully inspecting the car, the expert confirmed it was a genuine prototype, and with collectors constantly chasing rare Hot Wheels, its value could easily reach $100,000.
So I'm thinking 60?
Nah,
I'll go 65 grand.
I'll go down to 140.
I mean, I go as high as 70.
I guess today's not the day.
Well, thanks for coming in, man.
I have a coin I think you might be interested in. It's a steel penny.
Whoa. It's a 1944 steel penny.
From my research, there's less than 30 that exist.
Rick explained that during World War II, copper was diverted to the war effort. So in 1943, the U.S. Mint produced pennies made of zinc-coated steel. The following year, production returned to copper, but a few leftover steel blanks accidentally slipped through the presses.
This coin is one of the great mistakes of the U.S. Mint. And in general, when the United States Mint makes a mistake on a coin, that coin is going to be worth a lot of money.
The seller was asking $102,000 for the penny, so Rick called in a coin expert to see if it was really worth that much.
These 1944 steel cents are probably the most famous errors of the 20th century. And you would not believe how many people have dug through mounds and mounds of pocket change trying to find one of these. Because if you find one, it's a gold mine.
While the expert authenticated the coin and acknowledged its rarity, past auction sales indicated a market value of about $30,000, far below what the seller believed it was worth.
It is what it is. I would give you 25 grand for it.
I'm not sure you know what you have here. There's none of these for sale. This is the one.
What's the lowest you'd go?
75,000.
Not going to happen.
Then we will not be able to make a deal.
I have a Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the history of space and time, game-used jersey.
A game-used jersey for Michael Jordan.
And autographed across the front.
The seller explained that he's a sports memorabilia collector and had purchased the jersey years earlier at a Chicago Bulls charity auction.
It's a really unique thing. 1996-97 season, which is identified by the gold NBA logo on the front of the jersey. They only wore that in the NBA's 50th anniversary season.
Rick explained that Michael Jordan became the first true mega superstar in sports and eventually a billionaire, with most of his fortune coming from endorsements, especially his shoe line with Nike.
How much you want for this thing?
I'm asking $150,000.
$150,000. I'm gonna go get Steve. He's the autograph guy. Maybe we could do something. Give me
Okay,
a few minutes.
we could talk shop.
After examining the ink, the letter flow, and how the marker soaked into the fabric, the expert concluded that both the jersey and the signature were authentic.
It's a big question. You got the paperwork right there. Do you think it's real? What do you think it's worth?
So we've seen some crazy auction prices, but I would put this right at about $135,000.
After the expert's appraisal, Rick made an offer of $90,000, but the seller declined, saying he still wanted something closer to his original asking price.
I mean, I'd go 100. I mean, I gotta make money off the thing.
I understand. I would do 125, but I don't have a dime more. Less than that I'd be able to take.
If you change your mind, call me. So is this George Washington's too?
It is. It's a three-piece suit that he acquired sometime in the mid-18th century. It's amazing that it held up so well.
The seller said the three-piece suit had been carefully passed down through generations before eventually appearing at a New York auction where he purchased it.
If I could go back and have a cup of coffee with just about anybody in history, it'd probably be this guy. He could have been elected president until the day he died, but he stepped down after 2 terms, and he set the standard for presidents to come. To me, he's one of the most amazing men in history.
The seller mentioned that even though the piece is over 250 years old, it still shows traces of its original pink color.
So you think this is all legit and everything, right?
Yes, I think it is. You just don't see a piece of Americana like this very often. This is just amazing.
Absolutely.
The seller was asking $3 million, and Rick said he was actually considering buying it, but needed some time to think.
What's the best you can do? 1.5?
No,
How about $2 million?
absolute best price would be $2.5 million.
Okay, well, I guess the suit's out then.
The next seller walked in with an enormous collection of vintage Matchbox cars from the 1950s and 1960s.
So where'd you get all this?
I've been collecting since I was young, actually. There's roughly 1,000 pieces, almost 600 of them in boxes.
The seller explained that the Matchbox cars were made before 1970 and that most were still in their original boxes, which is critical for collectors.
This collection is without duplicates.
Everything in here is different.
Right.
So what do you want to do with these?
I'm hoping to pawn them.
How much were you looking to get?
I'm hoping to get $20,000.
The seller wanted a $20,000 loan, but Rick admitted he had no idea what they were worth, so he called in a toy expert for a professional opinion.
I've seen these go for $1,200 to $1,500. You got the BP tanker with the gray wheels. That's a $1,000 piece right there. This collection is amazing. I mean, boxes, condition, rarity. It has all the factors going for it.
After reviewing the collection, the expert confirmed it was special and valued it at $25,000 to $28,000.
I strongly suggest you do not take a $20,000 loan because you got to pay me back. Believe it or not, the more money I loan you, the more money I make. It's a 120-day loan. You don't pick it up, the stuff's mine.
Corey warned the seller about taking such a large pawn loan and explained the consequences, but the deal went through because the seller really needed the money. The next seller brought in antique American paper money, 2 1899 Chief notes, and a rare 1901 Bison Star note.
The old school large paper money of the United States. This is when we actually made pretty money. And now they just put dead presidents and old guys on it.
Rick explained that unlike modern bills, these early notes were designed almost like miniature works of art. The government filled them with detailed engravings so Americans everywhere could appreciate art, even if they lived far from museums.
They used to have real artists who made the money, and it was really hard to counterfeit. One engraver engraved the portrait, a separate engraver would engrave the background of the front, and a third engraver would do the back of the bill.
The seller was asking $15,000 for the 2 Chief notes and another $15,000 for the Bison Star note, so Rick called in a currency expert to verify their rarity and value.
Well, this is pretty cool, Rick. These are part of the Wild Wild West theme. They're considered to be America's greatest currency designs of all time. The Chief actually was part of the Sioux tribe.
The expert confirmed the notes were authentic and in extremely high condition, but their value was slightly lower than the seller expected.
I would put This is a retail value of probably 10 to 11 grand. The Chief notes are very collectible, very easy to sell. So I'd say on a retail level, you're looking right around 14 to 15,000.
After the expert's appraisal, Rick made separate offers for the notes, $8,000 for the Bison and $11,000 for the Chief notes.
Got a Babe Ruth baseball card for your consideration.
Damn, this thing's graded at 10?
Yeah, it's actually one of about a half dozen cards that exist from his playing days in a PSA 10 condition.
Rick said a PSA 10 grade indicates the card is in perfect condition, which is exceptionally rare for a card more than 100 years old.
This is actually a strip card. This was a kind of card that candy store owners had, and they would give these to kids as a premium when they bought candy.
The seller said that the fact this card is graded a perfect PSA 10 is practically unheard of, which is why he's asking $60,000 for it.
I mean, this is one of the rarest cards of Babe Ruth, being that it's graded a perfect PSA 10. You know, back in the early 1900s, even up to the 20s, they weren't meant for a long-term collectible. You know, these were marketing tools.
The expert explained that while the card was authentic and extremely rare, its value was nowhere near the seller's asking price. He estimated it would sell in today's market for between $12,000 and $15,000.
I think he's a little low on his estimate.
No, I mean, I'm thinking I'd give you $8 grand for it. So
probably the lowest, my bottom dollar price would be like 40 grand.
Obviously, we're not going to have a deal because $8 grand's it.
Right.